Welcome to the Junior Bowlers Gazette, the Junior Bowlers Gazette Association Championships. I'm Gary Trumbore. With me today is Jim J.J. Johnson, one of the premier bowlers in the Delaware area. And we have a big tournament here for you today. It's a scholarship tournament. Over $1,500 in college scholarships are going to be awarded to the 6 bowlers who made the finals. We had a tie for 5th place, so we have an extra match today. We're going to get the tournament started. Our first 2 bowlers are going to get ready. We're going to shake their hands, and our first bowler is going to get up on the lanes, and his name is Michael Anderson. JJ, that name sounds familiar, doesn't it? The last name, anyway.
Yeah, but with his brother Andy. I guess back in the area.
There goes Mike. Left himself a 5-9 to start off. This is his first year as a bowler. He bowled last spring in one of our programs at Price Lanes, and he's improved his average quite a bit since that time.
He's bowling 2 leagues this year.
He's really getting interested in it, just like his older brother Andy did. He was one of the better junior bowlers in his time. Our second bowler today, Keith Poppity. This is his second time on TV. First time he won was the Junior Singles Classic. My gosh, that's an interesting looking shot.
It's not a pretty way to start, is it?
We'll see what he can do with that. He had his highest game and his highest series out here at Bowlerama 2 years ago.
I remember that.
That was in the team event, the state tournament. He had a 238, I believe it was.
I think he had everybody in the house watching him, too. And they always hear that here.
He's going to have to get himself started if he wants to bowl anything like that today. The handicap difference between the 2 bowlers, 10 pins. Keith gets an extra 10 pins. By the looks of that first shot there, he may need it. Poppity's a familiar name in bowling in Delaware. His older brother, Kevin, has been on TV quite a bit. He's made a name for himself in the juniors.
Yes.
Matter of fact, this past summer, he was in the USA tournament in Washington, rolled a 298 game down there.
Hard to believe.
Of course, that doesn't sound like that much from JJ, since he's rolled how many 300 games he down there?
19.
19.
We're not here for that.
Uh-oh.
We just went a little by.
He's off to a bad start there.
Too worried.
See what Michael can do on his second shot.
How old is Keith? 10 years old?
10 years old.
Were you bowling when you were 10 years old, Gary? On TV?
No, I didn't get on TV till I was, what was I? Oh my God, I was 30. I was bowling at this age, but not in the junior league. I just used to open bowl a lot. Uh-oh, another chop. We're off to a slow start here. This may be a low-scoring match, which would certainly be different than what the scores were in the qualifying for this tournament, which took place over at Price Lanes on October the 4th. Had some pretty good scores shot there.
Lanes look a little oily today.
Yeah, the ball doesn't seem to move too much.
It's not.
I said these 2 bowlers came out in a tie. They had 11-18 for 5 games each with their handicap. And in the tie for 5th place, we decided to go with a whole game instead of just a couple frame roll-offs. Since it got that close, why not? Oh, he thought he had it. Looked like it.
Michael's got decent form at the line there anyway.
He's got the idea for a new bowler. He's not doing too bad.
Yeah, he does. Looks like he's been bowling a while. Couldn't tell. He really winds that ball up.
Yeah, he wants to be a cranker, I think, like his brother. He's going to have problems with that, I think, on this kind of a condition. Keith won one of our tournaments in the JBGA. He won the Summer Youth Adult Scotch Doubles, and that took place here at Bowlerama. He didn't get too much help from his partner, who happens to be the announcer here. I threw a couple spares somewhere along the line, I think. Michael, he only bowled in one tournament, but he did quite well in that. He bowled in the Niagara Falls Pro-Am qualifier. The winner from that tournament won an all-expense-paid trip to Niagara Falls to bowl with the pro bowlers of the PBA. And that was back in August.
It was a good ball by Keith. Looks like he's settling down a little bit.
Yeah, he's finally getting there.
There's 2 shots been right there.
The lights probably shake him up a little bit.
Sure, has to. Mike's got to slow down a little bit. He's just grabbing his ball and going here.
That's one of his main problems, and it's one of the things the coaches are trying to work on, is to get him to slow down. He's a little bit like his brother used to be. He's a little bit stubborn on that. He's got his own ideas. And said altogether, we've had 9 tournaments in the JBGA. It started last November, was the first tournament. And that was a 9-no-tap singles. That took place in November. The winner of that was Kevin Poppity. The second tournament was the Thanksgiving Youth Adult Scotch Doubles. And the winner in the junior division was Jim Bromwell. The rookies division was Bobby Ann Murray. In December, had the Junior Singles Classic, and that's the one that Keith Poppity won in his division. Winners in the junior was Kevin Poppity, his brother. In the major division, the winner was Alvin Messersmith from Elkton, Maryland. What kind of score we got so far here?
Well, Mike's got to slow down, take his time. He's falling behind.
He's waiting for the ball to hook at the last one, and it's just not doing it.
He's throwing the ball hard and down out on the outside. He's got to get the ball up and in a little bit.
We're going to take a break here for just a second. We'll be right back with more of the JBGA championships right after this. With the action at Bowlerama Lanes in Newcastle, the first match of the JBGA championships, Keith Poppity tied for 5th place with Michael Anderson. He's trying to come back.
Another good shot. Last 3 frames been right there.
He's getting there. That oil just is holding up the ball a little bit. Doesn't seem to be getting quite the action that he's expecting on that. What do you think of this crank? Do you think this is a good idea for a little kid?
I can see he's 10 years old, home 4 years already. You know how I throw the ball. I don't agree with it, but they seem to score. They get a lot more pin action than normal, what do they say, stroker would have. It's hard to say. There's probably 2 schools of thought on everything. The old guys rather have the strokers, and the younger guys probably want to see him crank the ball.
Let's see. He's got an interesting favorite pro bowler. It's one you don't see on a sheet too often. Amlito Monticelli.
Well, he managed to be a cracker, huh?
Yeah. Both these bowlers took the trip up to Niagara Falls. And Amlito Monticelli, they almost managed to bowl with. He ended up 1 pair of lanes away from them. And while the kids were bowling, Amlito shot a 300 game, shot a 280, 240 something. So I can understand why that would be his favorite pro bowler.
You can definitely see why. That's a nice show. That's a nice person to model by when you're shooting 300s and 280s.
Unfortunately, we didn't get the telescore working here, so the kids really don't know where they're at.
It's about a 40-pin difference here with Keith leading. And Mike still hasn't had the ball into the pocket. His ball's just fading away. And there it goes again.
Yeah, he's playing right down the middle of the lane, and that's just not going to work on an oily condition.
He's got to get the ball up into the pocket.
Well, that's one thing that a first-year bowler is going to make that mistake.
Sure is.
He really doesn't know where to move yet.
Sure, he'll be straightened out soon. Takes a while. That's a little better. Been keeping the ball in play a little bit now.
Keith has had quite a busy summer. back in June, they had the state qualifying for the National Family Tournament, sponsored by Avco, and that was the first time that Delaware participated in that tournament, and Keith managed to win his division with his mother, Roxy, and they took a trip to Washington to bowl in that. I think they came in 21st place, which isn't too bad for Delaware's first showing. Hopefully next year we'll do even better. We got into that tournament through the Bowlers Gazette. The Bowlers Gazette sponsored Delaware. It cost $780 for each state to participate in the tournament. And Bowlers Gazette decided it's about time Delaware gets in this thing. It's an 11-year-old tournament. And why should we be left out? Because we're small.
That's true.
So we gave it a shot. We didn't get quite the entries we expected. Of course, we didn't get quite the publicity we expected. The newspaper didn't help us out any. But hopefully next year things will get even better. Things are certainly getting better for Keith.
Yes, it is.
He's found something now.
Yes, he is. Got the right angle.
Said Keith was on TV earlier this season with the Junior Singles Classic that he won. He's also won the city and state team events, and he won, as I said, the Youth Adult Scotch Doubles, one of our JBGA tournaments. So for a 10-year-old kid, he's getting quite a bit of experience.
Yeah, I guess so. Sure is. Shows, too.
His average is a little bit more than what his brother's was at that age, so I think the juniors better look out in a couple years when this kid gets up out of the prep division.
Everybody's got to look out. Nope. Caught all that oil on the way down.
That oil's going to make it tough for him.
We're looking at about a 40-pin lead right now for...
After the sixth frame, what do we got? 88 to 45. So that's a good-sized lead at this point. Mike's still having trouble out there trying to get the ball up into the oil.
These are self-difficult spares when you miss that head pin. But
he said he's been a little bit stubborn, but maybe when he sees himself on TV and the coaches talk to him, he might listen a little bit. He might be more receptive.
He'll understand what he's doing wrong and point it out. I'm sure his brother will help him out there.
That's one of the things that kids today have an advantage on. Of course, they have many advantages, different tournaments and whatever that goes on. But back in my day, certainly, and even in your day, they didn't have that much camera work. Now there's a couple of the houses have their own video cameras for the kids. They use on. There we go. He found something that time.
He got that ball up, threw it right into the pocket. Nice shot, crossed over. That keeps the ball in play. That's what counts.
But the houses that have the video cameras really have an extra asset for their junior bowlers. Because it's kind of difficult to tell a youngster what he's doing wrong if he can't see it. When he can see it on camera, you don't even have to tell him what he's doing wrong, because he knows then. Because when I was a junior, I was kind of stubborn. My father used to coach me, and it didn't work. Because he's telling me I'm doing one thing, I know I'm not doing it, you know.
No one listens to their father about coaching, do they? Everybody's like that.
Yeah, we've found that out through the years that most coaches try to get somebody else to work with their kids. It just doesn't work right.
He's from Price, he's right.
Uh-huh.
So
yeah, they're both from Price Lanes.
There you go.
Uh-oh.
The last two balls, Keith just got the ball and took off. The middle frames, took a little bit more time concentrating. But he does have a substantial lead here going into the last frame.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to have... Well, you never know. He's just about pretty well there. He can kind of coast, but he shouldn't coast too much.
No,
he's got another match coming up.
Sure.
He doesn't want to lose what he found.
Any bad habits, he's got a final score of 134.
134 for Keith. Including his handicap, so he had a 124 scratch, which is certainly well over his average. That's a good start.
Yes, it is.
So it looks like Michael's going to end up in 6th place.
There's another nice shot.
There he comes. He
Shame,
found it late.
Yes, he did.
Found it just a little bit too late.
He's hoping that ball up there into the hole now and keeping the ball in play instead of just letting his arm fly out.
Next match we have coming up, Keith is going to be going up against Steve Kenney. Bowled at Price Lanes last year. He's at Silverside this year.
He's good at shooting around 117. He picks up these two last pins.
Which is still over his average, so he really didn't do that bad.
No,
he just got off to a horrendous start.
I think with the lights and everything else, it didn't help. Strange bowling alley. 117.
117 to 134 the first match. The winner was Keith Poppity. We'll be right back with the second match of the JBGA Championships right after these words. We are back with the JBGA Championships, $1,500 in scholarships. We're into the second match of the tournament. 5th place versus 4th place, Keith Poppity, Steve Kenney. Steve Kenney's going to lead us off in this match.
There you go.
I guess who's leading us off? Somebody's supposed to be starting. We're going to get the match started now.
Here we go.
We had him on the wrong side, but we're ready. Keith Poppity. He's up here now. He just won the last match, 134 to 117 over Michael Anderson. And he should have a slight advantage, JJ. This is his 3rd game now on TV. So he should be less nervous. Steve Kenney, this is his first time that he's been on TV. So he's probably going to be in the same shape Michael Anderson was last game, at least the first couple of frames.
Very tough, adjusting to the lights and pressure. Bowling somebody that's been on TV 3 times already.
And having to spot that same person 46 pins.
It's a good pickup start.
That's a good start.
Keith looks relaxed.
Steve Kenney bowled at Price Lanes last year. He moved up to Silverside this year. He comes from Kennett Square, PA, so I guess both bowling centers are about equal distance. He's bowled at a number of the JBGA tournaments. He's also in the Bowlers Gazette Youth Tour, and he finished in the top 10 in points in that.
He got 166 average.
Yeah, he's starting off pretty good this year at Silverside. Last year, he only had a 137. 2 years ago, he was bowling up at Pack Lanes, up in Kennett Square, before they closed down. And he was a state finalist in the Coca-Cola tournament up there in the handicap division for the state of Pennsylvania. I think he came in 2nd place for the whole state of Pennsylvania.
All of that.
He's been doing a little bit of bowling.
Got a little experience in these tournaments. 247 high game, 604 high series.
Yeah, he had his first 600 at Price Lanes this past spring in one of our Bowlers Gazette Spring Fling Leagues.
That's a nice shot there.
There he is. That was quite costly to his father. His father was, I'm sure he doesn't do it now with his average as high as it is, but last year when he was 130s, anytime he bowled a 200 game, his father would buy him a new angle shirt. So he bowled a 247 to 604. I said, okay, now what are you going to buy him, an angle ball? So I think that ended the shirts real quick.
Yeah, 166 average, 200s come a little bit more frequently.
Yeah, Keith Poppity.
Looks smooth. Looks like he knows what he's doing with that ball at all times.
Yeah, he's looking at that oil, and he knows the ball's going to hold. That's the main thing for these younger bowlers with the lower averages. They really have to make their spares.
That's true.
They try too hard to get strikes, and they don't even worry about the spares.
That's for everybody. Spares are important.
And then again, strikes are nice, too.
Yeah. They don't hurt.
The whole idea is to fill in the frame.
That's exactly
If you don't fill in the frame, you're not going to win.
He's starting off strong. Let's see how Steve comes back. Marking on the strike.
Uh-oh.
Baby split.
310 staring at him. He's won 2 of our Bowlers Gazette Youth Tours, which started just a year and a half ago. The last one he won was next to the last tournament of the season. Oh,
He made
there
it.
he
Nice
goes.
shot.
A little hesitant there on
Yeah.
that 10 pin, but it finally went.
As long as they knock him down.
Yeah, Steve has really picked up his average quite a bit in a year. 30 pins, that's not too bad. That's
For
not
1 year, that's a lot of bowling, probably, a lot of practicing, a lot of help from the family.
And a lot of tournament bowling. As I said, he bowled in the youth tour, and there's another strike. We had 27 stops in that this past season, and I think he bowled in 26 of the 27. So he's been around to a lot of houses, and
Pays
that
off
helps.
in the end. It does.
You get
Pays
to
off.
see the different lane conditions.
Competition bowling, it's excellent practice. Great for the game.
Little Keith wants to be our youngest
There's the double.
youth tour bowler this year. In order to get into the youth tour, they have to average 130. And he's really pushing so that by the city tournament, he's got his 130 average because he wants to bowl in the youth tour.
If he keeps on bowling like this here,
His brother better retire.
lips relaxed, throwing the ball well, keep it up.
A little bit high.
As soon as I say something. See how he goes after this.
Puts his hands in his pockets. He's all relaxed.
Yeah, he looks it. Throwing the ball well.
He's not
Both
gonna let
bowlers are throwing the ball well.
He's not going to let split bother him.
He takes the sure one there.
Well, that 46-pin handicap advantage is really putting them way ahead at this stage of the game. And getting 4 marks and 5 frames doesn't hurt either. You
With a
give
double.
somebody 46 pins and they get 4 out of 5 marks, you're not going to beat them too well. You got to throw a lot of strikes against them.
Ooh, wide shot. Just had oil coming into play. You get that ball out, it's just sailing down the lane.
And I'm sure the heat from the lights isn't helping too much either. I bet as we go along today, the oil's going to keep traveling farther down. I pity the last couple bowlers. Now he pulled that one over.
Pulled right across his body. He's got to slow down. Keith put that pressure on him by starting off big. Steve's got to settle down a little bit. Take his time, get his composure back.
There's that oil again. Ball went into the pocket, but just didn't have anything on it. It's a 5-7.
Starting a little too hard. So he's got to slow down. A little oil in the lane, he's got to take a little bit of speed off the ball.
Well, we're going to take a break right here for just a second. We'll be right back with the finals of this match in the JBGA Championships. Okay, we're back with the action at Bowlerama Lanes, the Bowlers Gazette Junior Bowling Association Championships. Keith Poppity trying to make this spare that threw the ball while we took our break, and he makes a spare. A little weight didn't hurt him a bit.
No, he's pumped up.
He is. He's ready.
Relaxed, just cruising along right now.
Were you that way when you were that age?
No. No way.
I know I was.
I wasn't even bowling when I was 10.
Oh, yeah, you were. Oh, yeah, you were. I got a good memory.
I don't remember. not on TV or not in any tournaments, I'll tell you that. Not this well either.
I think you carried about that average, about that age. Somewhere
Probably
around 90, 100, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe.
You put down a little wine. You didn't allow for the oil on that one. But he'll get over it.
He's allowed to miss once in a while.
Sure, sure. Even he did that one time or other.
Yeah, all the time. Too often. Let's see if that little miss there by Keith helps Steve a little bit.
Keith has about an 80-pin lead right at this point, and after the 6th frame. Steve makes a spare here. He can cut it down a little bit, but I think he's running out of room.
He is. That was a decent shot there by Steve. It got a bad break by leaving the 9-pin. And he rushed, and there's
that oil again. He's going to have to get some coaching on that.
Yes.
Do you do any coaching anymore, Joe?
No.
No? You're retired from coaching?
Not at the present time, anyhow. Unless someone asks.
There you go.
I'll help them out a little bit.
Yeah, that's one thing that Steve's going to definitely have to work on is how to adjust to an oily condition.
That, and, maybe next time on TV he'll, be more relaxed.
Yeah, I'm sure that has a lot to do with it.
I'm sure he's a little tense.
I've bowled on TV a few times, and I still get tense when I get up there. You know, one thing I've noticed, and I don't understand it, but when I bowl on TV in front of the lights and all, for some reason the approach seems an awful lot shorter. Now, I don't know what that is, but when I'm up there, that approach is awfully short.
Because you want to run away from everything. You run out of room.
I think I'm in such a hurry to get up there and sit down again. And I race to the line.
Behind lane 30, last call for tips 50 tickets behind lane 30.
What do you think of the different lane conditions we're coming up with now? With this ABC rule of the 26-foot and do anything you want?
Well, if that holds up, I think might come back to knocking the crankers out and open up strokers again.
Yeah.
Of course, that put poor Keith in a little bit of trouble. But,
yeah, he's going to have to play
like
the
me
middle.
And Steve here. Tough. See if everybody holds true to that, but I'm sure they're going to have to. Bad shot there. Bad break, anyhow.
I really can't see why they're giving the proprietors a choice of, well, you can do it this way or you can do it that way. I mean, I just don't see that somewhere.
Something wrong. They make a firm decision. That's how they're going to be done, and let it go at that.
Yeah, Keith dropped that one.
Problem is, bowling's still a business.
Yeah, it is. And the bowlers, most of your bowlers, they don't bowl in tournaments or anything.
Right.
They just go out there and they have a good time once or twice a week, and they have a much better time when they bowl good.
That's right. Proprietors got to look at their point of view. Bottom line.
When my bowlers are happy, they're going to come back.
That's right.
If they're not happy, they're going to get drunk and probably not come back at all.
See if Steve can make this version of the 310 with that sleeper. It's a little harder.
And he's still having the same problem.
Steve's going to be a little short of his average this game.
Yeah, he's closer to last year. I said that's the different lane conditions and the lighting and being on TV.
Of course, the way Keith started out didn't help any. He started out on fire.
That's for sure.
It'd be a tough one to beat today. He's relaxed, throwing the ball well.
That'd be almost impossible for you to beat somebody. You spot 46 pins, and they start out with 4 marks and 4 frames, including a double. You got to bowl 350.
So if he hooks the ball that much, I couldn't beat him on this condition anyway. That's a nice pickup by Steve right there. Very tough shot, especially on this oil. Ball's not going to finish that much. Nice shot.
In this kind of condition, I guess you're happy to be back on this side.
Sure. .130 is the final score for Steve.
Yeah, that's close to his last year's average. And it's not that bad considering the conditions and the lights.
Right. Next time, watch out, right?
Now he can go back and practice moving.
That's right. Watch yourself on television, find out what he did wrong.
Looks like Keith's ball's not hooking quite as much as it was. That oil must be...
Looks like he's just going through the motions now. You better watch it, you know?
Yeah. Of course, that's what we thought the last game, but look how he started the next one. Maybe he's just conserving his energy.
It's like, get us out.
If they start that at this age, I know I'm going to quit.
Look at this. All right.
And he makes it.
Beautiful.
Nice fair.
You just did that to show off. See?
Yeah. So see, I can still do it.
Sure. Make us look bad.
He's awfully well relaxed for a 10-year-old. I've seen pro bowlers that don't act that relaxed.
Smiling, having a good time. He's just here. He's glad to be here.
Yeah, he's enjoying himself.
Nice game.
Winning himself another match. That's his second.
203 with handicap, 157 scratch.
203, 130. We'll be right back with the next match, Junior Bowlers Gazette Association Championships, after these messages. The JBGA Championships, the third match. Keith Poppity against Eddie Thomas. Keith has won 2 matches in a row. He's on a hot streak.
Increasing his television experience.
Yeah.
And starting off the
he's
same
ready.
way.
He's ready.
He's on fire today.
He's sitting back there, a nice smile on his face. He's enjoying this. He just informed me during the commercial break that I owe him a soda.
Why is that?
Because he made that big washout. He said, you owe me a soda because I made that washout, because we had ourselves a little thing the other day when he was doing that. I said, okay, you make that and I'll buy you a soda. So now he wants another soda. This is Eddie Thomas here. His current average is 152. Last year he was 136. He bowls out of Price Lanes, and this is his 5th year. It's his first year in our tournaments. He's bowled in 2 youth tours, and he's bowled in 2 of the JBGA tournaments. I have an idea from the looks of it that he may have a problem with this oil too.
The oil and the surroundings, and the fact that he's seen Keith just fire up 2 people in a row here.
Last year, Eddie in the singles tournament took 2nd place. That was the state singles. There he comes back.
That's a good shot. Maybe he only needed that 1 ball under the lights. Maybe he'll relax a little bit.
Yeah, that could be. As we said earlier, the JBGA was started it organized last October, had the first tournament in November. And this past spring, we had another one of our tournaments, Youth Adult Scotch Doubles. And the winners of that was Kevin Poppity in the juniors, Bobby Ann Murray again in the rookie division. She won 2 of those tournaments. Also, through special arrangement with Fairlanes, Bowlers Gazette was able to sponsor a Baltimore Junior Pro-Am, and the top 4 bowlers in that got a paid entry into the Junior Pro-Am down in Baltimore, bowling with the pros, and they enjoyed that. The winner of that tournament was Keith's older brother, Kevin. We had a couple 9 no-tap singles. The first winner was Jeff Clark. The second The winner was Dan Flynn from Dover. Then we had the Niagara Falls Junior Pro-Am. That took place in July, and the winner of that was Jerry Miller. Bowls out of Price Lanes this year. He bowled out of Pike Creek last year, and he won an all-expense-paid trip to Niagara Falls to bowl with the junior bowlers.
That's great.
And that was in cooperation with the Combo Corporation.
We're getting bowlers for this tournament from all over. Downstate Delaware and Pennsylvania.
Elkton. Yeah,
Elkton.
We're moving along pretty good.
Word's getting around. Successful. That's great.
Hopefully this year we'll do even better. Now this particular tournament that we're talking about right now, the scholarships in this, $1,500 was what was originally announced. It actually has gone up since that time. We managed to get a little bit more into it. The winner of this tournament originally was going to receive $500. The winner is now going to receive $750 towards their college scholarship. Second place is $500. Third place is $300. Fourth is $200. Fifth is $150. And sixth place is $100.
That's great. A lot of incentive to bowl and a lot of good bowling because of it.
As I said, we had 9 tournaments last year. The youth bowlers get points based on their position standings. They get 25 for a first place finish, 20 for second, 17 for third, 14, and on so forth down the line to 15th. And after 15th, they all get 1 point. And the bowlers who qualified for this tournament were in the top 40. And out of the top 40, we had 27 entries, which isn't too bad since some of them did go adult. And some of them had other commitments to make. But we had 27 entries altogether in the tournament, and the top 10 actually got some scholarship money in the tournament. 7th place was 40, 8th place was 30, 9th was 20, then it went to 15 for 10th place. And he just missed another spare.
Well, after 3 frames, Eddie picked up, looks like 9 pins on his handicap disadvantage. Keith's getting 29 pins this game. So it's 66 to 46 after 3. Keith with a tough spare here, of course. He's made a few tough ones.
Yeah, he sure has. And as we said, we have 29 pins to work with, so he can afford a couple of these. But he better not wait too long, because Eddie's not doing too bad here. He's got 2 out of 4 marks.
It's like lights aren't affecting Eddie too much at all. Seems relaxed on his natural shot. So after 4, it's a 19-pin advantage for Keith. 74 to 55.
Keith doesn't have the smile on his face now. It looks like he's a little bit worried.
He's never had 3 opens in a row before. He's got to settle down, get his natural rhythm back here.
That's a mistake. Don't want to look up at the score this soon.
No.
He sure does pull that ball over, doesn't he? There he is. He's back.
All right, well,
He's happy with that. We're going to take a break and come right back with the action after these messages. We're back with the JBGA Championships. Eddie Thomas, who qualified in the 3rd position in the qualifying, which took place October 4th at Price Lanes. We're here at Bowlerama for the finals. We're taping 2 tournaments today, the JBGA Championships and the Bowlers Gazette Youth Tour Point Leaders Championship. Between the 2 tournaments, we have over $5,000 we're awarding in scholarships. This is the largest organization of its type in the country, JJ.
That's great. Oh, it's for you, Gary. You and the kids. A lot of work paying off for you. Paying off for the kids anyway.
I enjoy working with the youth program.
Done it for a long time.
Yeah, I won't even mention how many years.
I didn't mean it that way.
But between the years I was a junior and the years I've been working with the juniors, that's a long time. But I know I enjoyed myself when I was a junior bowler. We bowled out at Parkway. They didn't have any tournaments back then.
Not too many. You have your city tournaments. And
they didn't even have those. The first year I bowled was the first year they had a state tournament.
That was it.
And I still have a patch somewhere. We came in second place. I don't even remember now what division or anything it was, but I still got a patch for it. But other than those two tournaments, there really wasn't that much.
And he's got to slow down a little bit. He's done a little bit too much ball speed for these lanes anyway. You know, after that big spare by Keith, let's see how he comes back. See if he settled down a little bit. Looks a little better.
He was close. He was close. He had the ball in play, left himself a spare that's
relatively easy. Well,
and the way he's been playing the lanes this year, I guarantee he's not going to cross over with this one. He's going to stay on the left side and shoot it from. Do you recommend that?
No, I don't. But I don't turn the ball as much as he does. So. He made it, so right, that's what counts.
Whatever works for whatever bowler, right?
That's true. Especially in a one-game match. Go over what works for you.
Whatever you're natural with. There he is.
Well,
he's moving along well. He's giving himself a good shot here. He's not slacking up. He had a couple frames there where he kind of fell asleep or whatever, but he's picked up 3 spares in a row. He's got a 31-pin lead over Eddie.
See if Eddie can slow the ball down a little bit. A little better ball reaction. He helped that one across.
But it worked.
Break. Yeah, he got a break.
It worked. It looks good on paper.
Yes, it does. Let's see if he can make it count real big here. Get a double. Put some pressure back on Keith. See how he reacts. Didn't get the break he wanted that time.
Looks to me like Eddie needs to relax a little bit more on the swing. He really does.
Looks like he has a lot of concentration out there, though. He's looking hard at his mark. Keeping his eyes down on it.
There's the oil again. Maybe Keith's got the right idea for that.
Yes, he does.
Don't cross over the oil. Stay on that side. That's not what coaches recommend, but what do they know sometimes? They're not on TV bowling.
That's right. Get in there.
Okay, Keith's coming back strong.
Yes, he is.
He's decided he gave Eddie about as much chance as he wants to right now. He's not going to give him any more.
Why give him a chance?
His brother better watch it in about another year. He's going to be in trouble.
Everybody better watch for this kind of ball. These lanes are very difficult today. A lot of oil. You don't know how the ball's going to react, if it reacts at all.
And as we get farther on in these matches, that oil's going to carry down and it's going to make it even more difficult.
Doesn't seem to be bothering Keith after 3 matches.
Pro Tournament had a problem with that a few years ago, didn't they? With the lane conditioning and the hot lights, and the scores were getting worse. And it took them about 6 months to try to solve that problem. I think what they started doing was between matches they were shooting steam like out on over the lanes to get some moisture back in because it was drying things out.
A lot of complaints in that stepladder finals and that, the way the lane conditions are after, the lights hit it and affects that, the synthetic surfaces that most of the pro tours are bowled on.
And most of the pro tournaments, it seems like a good percentage, the tournament leader isn't the winner.
They were the ones complaining.
Yeah.
The leaders.
So figure who's bowling against the leaders already got at least one game in. They got a much better idea what that lane's like.
Yes, especially if both lanes are different, which probably 90% of the time both of them are.
Yes, they will be.
That was a nice pickup by Eddie. He rushed that shot a little bit, pulled it across his body.
Very deliberate bowler. Very deliberate, not relaxed.
Yeah.
Not relaxed.
This is first time I've seen him bowl. I don't know if this is...
This is his normal. This is his normal style. He hasn't changed anything.
We finished for Eddie with a 136. Started off all right and kind of started getting behind and missed a few spares.
Didn't fill the boxes. Didn't fill the boxes. When you spot somebody 29 pins, you better have most of them filled.
Especially the way he's bowling.
Well, looks like Keith is going to have himself 3 matches in a row. He's already won more matches on TV today than his brothers won in 4 years.
Well, his brother's always in the top spot, you know.
Yeah.
You only win one.
Still playing that shot on that side. I bet his coaches are going to be upset about it, but they better not be too upset the way he's bowling. There goes our match. 187 for Keith Poppity. Eddie Thomas with 136. We'll be right back with the semifinal match right after this. We're back with the JBGA Championships. The semifinal match, Keith Poppity, our first bowler, has won 3 matches in a row. And he's out to get another one. And that was a good ball.
Yes, it was. I think that was excellent ball. Doesn't hurt him, though. He's still got the big smile.
I'll say, he's really been bowling quite well here. Had a 124 scratch the first game. 157 scratch the second game. 156 scratch.
And a spare to start
the
this
third game. Somebody that only went in with an average of 90-something, that's tough to beat. Now here we have
Almost
Dave
impossible.
Lux, first left-hander in the tournament. Maybe that'll change some luck around a little bit. Dave spotting Keith, 63 pins, which is certainly playing on his mind.
Excellent ball.
He seems to be relaxed.
Yes, he does.
It's his first time on television.
Didn't show on that ball.
That's for sure.
Everything looked perfect from here. Looked good on paper, too. The result was excellent.
I'm sure Dave came into this with some trepidation. We had a youth tour qualifying 5-game block here this past Friday. And we had 3 left-handers in the tournament, and they all came in the last 3 places, and Dave was one of them. So I'm sure he was a little bit worried about what the lane conditions would be today for him.
Rushed a little bit, didn't take his time. Got to the line too quick. And the result was through the nose.
His high series, he was up subbing at Silverside this summer. He had a 280 game and a 752 series. I bet he wishes the finals were there.
Oh, well.
Pulled that one in.
2 for 2, yes.
Can't afford to do that when you give up 63 pins.
It hurts there. 2 there would mean 4. Keith right up. That ball and that head pin keeps it in play.
He sure does. He keeps it right there. I think he's only had maybe 2-3 balls that were not on the head pin somewhere. And he made one of them, right?
Just all around good bowling.
There he comes back with a spare.
Scratching his head. I don't know why.
Maybe he didn't like it when he let it go. All that hook he throws, he has no problem with that.
Complete split front 212.
Almost carried one of them. Looking at his thumb. That's the first place you look when you leave a split, right?
If he's getting tired.
Yeah, this is his fourth match.
Maybe his thumb's swelling up too.
He bowled 5 games qualifying for this tournament last night.
He made this.
Look at this. He makes the 5-7. He's not worried. Look at a smile on his face. He's ready.
Dave got to say, what am I against?
Says, what am I doing here? Dave is another one of our bowlers who qualified. There's his father right in the background smoking a cigarette. They went down to Washington also for the junior division in the National Family Tournament. I think they came in somewhere around 27th place in that. Dave's a product of Price Lanes.
That was a nice ball. Big guy, a lot of size difference.
Yeah, he just turned 15.
Big 15.
A couple of months ago. He's a tall sprout.
Gets that ball out in that lane, doesn't he? .188 average.
Yeah, he's raised it a little bit from last year. This is his 6th year in the leagues. He's only bowling in 1 league at this time, and that's the Saturday Junior program. Last year he was in 3 leagues. He was in the 2 junior adult leagues at Price Lanes, and he was in a Saturday night program that we started up. That hasn't started yet this year. I'm sure he'll probably want to get into that.
He definitely has to slow down, take his time, think about what he's doing right here. He's going to fall behind and we'll never get them 63 pins back.
I'll say, not when Keith keeps filling in them blocks like that. It's pretty bad when somebody's got 100 in the second frame. I mean, you can't beat that. Come on now. Even you can't do that.
Even me. Nice spare. Nice spare. Need that to keep him in.
Winner of this match will continue on and bowl against the tournament leader, Jeff Clark. Dave and Jeff came very close. There's only 6 points difference between the two of them.
Dave bowled well last night.
Yes, he certainly did.
202 scratch last night for 5 games.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. 10-12 scratch.
202 average. That's.
And they were consistent games. No really big games and nothing to cry about either. 188 was the low. 217 was the high. Very consistent.
Sounds like he filled in a lot of boxes, right?
That's for sure.
And
that's what his opponent is doing right now. Got another smile on his face. Look at this. He's just
having
all
a good
calm.
time.
He's enjoying this. He says, why can't I go out every Sunday afternoon and bowl like this?
An average 140, right? 150 or more. Ball's been there all day. Just wonderful.
And I was giving him a little bit of heck when he first came here today because he didn't get here till like 11:45. And I said, Keith, you better get out here and get some practice. These lanes are completely different than what you bowled on last night.
Guess he's showing you, huh?
Boy, was I wrong. Lanes are different, but it didn't bother him.
Oh, there's a bad. He hit his leg.
Well, everybody's entitled to a bad frame. And that's the 5th frame, which means we're going to be back in just a minute for the completion of this match of the JBGA Championships. We'll be right back. We're back. Just had an interesting commercial there. We're back with Dave Lux in his 5th frame. The semifinal match, JBGA Championships, over $1,500 in scholarships to be awarded in this tournament. Dave was the 2nd qualifier, 11:52. 6 pins under the tournament leader, Jeff Clark, with 11:58 for 5 games.
Nice ball. He likes it.
Looked good.
Finished a little bit more that time.
He's the first bowler today on the left-hand side of the lane, so I don't know if that would be an advantage or a disadvantage. There's nobody to mess up his line if he has one.
If he has one, is correct.
Trouble is with the oil out there, he's got to kind of make his own, which is kind of difficult if you're the only bowler, especially in a one-game match.
Very tough to do.
Maybe you ought to take Keith's idea and move to the opposite side to make those spares. Cross lanes just doesn't seem to be getting it today.
Lanes royal, you got to help the ball over there. It's not going to hook by itself. You definitely got to help it over there. Whether you point it up at it or slow the ball down or give it a little extra.
Guess who his favorite bowler is?
Bet she's left-handed. The king.
Earl Anthony, yes indeed.
I could have not.
But he wishes he was here today to give him some pointers on what to do on this kind of a lane.
God of bowling. Exception to the rule, right?
I'll say. Dave made the top 10 list in the JBGA. He bowled in quite a few of the tournaments. Didn't win any, but he always managed to get enough points to keep him up there.
A lot of seconds, I think.
Keith bowled in a couple. He didn't bowl in that many, but the ones he bowled in, he did quite well in. And that's the whole idea.
That's true.
Select the tournaments you want and go out and win them.
That's all. Well, see what he does with this. He's got to get his head together and string a few strikes here. You know, it's hard. You need 63 pins down before you even get up on the lane.
That's really got to leave you cold. When you look up there and see somebody's got 63 pins and haven't even thrown a ball. Especially the way this one's throwing the ball.
Right.
Look at that. You couldn't ask for anything better. He threw the ball where it should have gone.
That's right. Bad break. I don't know how he gets the accuracy on his ball, but he knows where it's going.
146 to 68 after 5 frames.
Actually, Keith's beating Dave Scratch through 5 frames.
As he has everybody that he's bowled.
Gets the pocket solid again, leaves the 10. See how he does with this side of the alley, Gary.
Yeah, I think this is the first time he's had to shoot this pin. I have to tell you, this is worth a soda, too. I'm going to be in trouble here today. Is he going to make it?
I think he did.
There goes the soda. Yeah, he's looking at me, too. And look at that grin. He knows it. He knows it.
He's coming back to collect.
Yeah, you're going to have to wait a bit now. Dave Lutz, what's he got to do? He better go all the way here if he wants to do anything.
A little too late to go fishing for a line. He's got to stick with what he has and hope it works, but
looks like he hasn't.
He's disappointed in himself, and it's not helping him from now on. Got down early, and it's tough.
Especially when you get beat by somebody that's about half as tall as you are.
Doesn't help.
Well, I guess it proves out size makes no difference in bowling.
No, it doesn't.
Some of the best pro bowlers in the world weren't much more than 5'6" or 5'7".
Closer to the lane, right?
Yeah, there you go. Don't have to drop the ball as far. Of course, then you get the opposite type. You got Steve Cook, and he's one of the bigger guys out there. And you go against him, and you just look at him, and you lose.
Yeah.
The kids got a chance to watch him in person up in Limerick the other year. And he won won the PBA touring championship up there, and he was more than impressive.
I think they
Of course,
all
our
are.
juniors, we had about 5 or 6 juniors went up and bowled in the Pro-Am, and the juniors, with their handicap, beat the pros.
That's always fun.
Keith managed to do that twice. He beat his pro down in Baltimore, and he beat him in Niagara Falls.
That's nice that the pros do that. Keep interest in the young guys.
Yeah, it is. The kids really get a kick out of that. Is he going to make 2 of these in a row? That might be a milkshake or something. I don't know. No, he
don't
left
have to worry
one
about
out.
that.
Wonder if that'll even us up. Wonder if that'll even us up.
Depends how thirsty he is.
There he goes, firing it up in the 9th.
And
Still keeping it in
still
play.
in that 1-3 pocket, isn't he? And he gets to go.
Puts his hands in his pocket.
To
He's
the
all
other
relaxed.
side,
Isn't this
sure.
awful? See a little kid that's relaxed.
Like he's supposed to be here.
I
Every day
belong here.
Yeah, everyday
That's it.
affair.
I belong here.
Like getting up in the morning.
There he is again, shooting that unorthodox. This
Way.
time it didn't work. But he doesn't have to worry. He doesn't have to worry. He can coast. Look at this. Look at the grin. He knows it. Says, I got him.
Yep. Shut out.
If he ever bowls for blood, they better look out.
That's for sure.
Dave's still out there fishing. He hasn't been able to find anything today.
Oh, he has it.
Of course, I think psychologically he was at a disadvantage from the start. He had bowled bad here before. Spotting 63 pins to somebody's just won 3 matches scratch.
It starts off with 4.
Starts off with 4 marks. That's
It made a 5-7.
that's kind of you're kind of lost before you start.
Kind of send you for a loop. Anybody.
68 pins at this time. Keith still hasn't beat scratch. That spare's going to help him out. I know he doesn't want that to happen.
No, I'm sure he does.
Well, he's bad enough to lose, but not scratch.
Oh, uh-oh. We'll hear about it.
Then again, shaking his head, he says, oh, well,
Now it's tie.
it's just not my day. It's tie.
It's tie scratch.
Tie scratch. Oh, my goodness. I wonder what Jeff Clark was thinking at this point, whether he's concerned in any way. He doesn't look it.
He's been practicing for 2.5 hours. He's going to find something. Of course, maybe he should come down. 135 for Dave.
135. Just wasn't his day.
No, it wasn't.
But he's still smiling, which shows he's a good sport.
He still gets 3rd, right?
Yeah, that's not too bad. What's he get for that? He gets $300 scholarship.
Nothing
Sure,
wrong with
that's
that.
not bad for an afternoon.
Not bad.
Keith's up to 500 now.
Yeah. Keep beating scratch now.
I think
well.
Dave just realized that. He's over there. Yeah, they
That's
both
right.
realized it. Mhm.
I'm sure there'll be some kids on going Saturday here.
His father's in the background shaking his head.
Yeah.
Makes a spare.
Just on fire.
63 pins. He's got about a 2-0 something here. Means he bowled a
At least.
140 something scratch again.
It's about what he's averaging, probably around 148, 147.
There's another ball in play. Look at
We'll
this.
give him 211 with
Look at this.
handicap.
211 with handicap, 148 scratch. Good game for Keith Poppity. We'll be back in just...
As we're back with the championship match. JBGA Championships, Keith Poppity, the first bowlers, won 4 matches in a row versus Jeff Clark, the tournament qualifier. Keith still has the ball in play.
And getting 75 pins this game.
Gets 75 pins handicap. Has beat his 4 opponents so far. Scratch. That's got to put Jeff Clark at a little disadvantage.
But it's always nice to be number one.
Yeah, that too.
Guaranteed second.
And Keith makes a spare. This is Keith's 5th match altogether on TV. And I think Jeff Clark has just about as many, so there shouldn't be any psychological advantage that way. There's a determined bowler.
And a break.
And he got himself a lucky break.
Someone start off with a good break against Keith. Maybe something's going to turn around here.
Well, he needs some good breaks. 75 pins.
For sure, because Keith's not going to beat himself today, it doesn't look like.
Jeff's high series is 751.
Wow.
That was in the Youth Top 10 tournament the Bowlers Gazette puts on. That was at Holiday Lanes this past May.
Sounds like a 250 average. Plus one. Jeff went high on the first shot, got a break, and this time he goes Brooklyn.
His high game is at 279, and that was in 1984 right here in this house.
Ooh, that should help him get a little confidence, right?
I'll say. Youth Top 10 champ, 3 years.
That doesn't help.
83, 84, and 86. All those were TV matches, and he bowled against some good bowlers in those. The 1 year in between that he lost to John Ratliff. And he came in 3rd in the 1985 Eastern Junior All-Stars. His father's Bill Clark. He's been bowling for quite a few years.
Big name around here.
I'll say. He's got a brother, Bill. His mother's Joanne. I don't think she bowls. Does she bowl?
Not to my knowledge.
I don't think she does. Uh-oh. 5 pin. Look out, Keith.
Does that get you a soda?
It should, shouldn't it? I think it should. I'm going to tell him that.
Yeah. Every 5 pin he missed.
There's a mess.
Yes, it is. He's made one today.
Champion of this tournament, this match, will receive a $750 college scholarship. Second place gets a $500 scholarship. Both of these junior bowlers already have scholarship accounts with some money in them. And Jeff has about $350 in his. Keith has $300 in scholarships already. So these kids, by the time they get ready for college, they're going to have a little bit of...
You get triplet today.
That's for sure. They'll have enough to at least pay for a couple books.
Everything else.
Your brother was the first one to use any of our scholarships down in Del Tech. Kevin Johnson. I think he had $300.
Everything else, right? That's the first ball he's got out where I think he wants to get it out to.
Yeah, a little more comfortable in that.
The other 3 balls went a little high.
I'm just a little bit worried, though. Of course, I would be, too, if I had spot somebody 75 pounds.
He's not worried. He's going to go high again.
A couple of other bowlers who have graduated from high school are in the process of using their scholarship money. Dan Flynn, he's up at West Point. Michelle Piasecki is using some of her money right now. We're waiting to hear from a couple others.
There's a good tournament, good idea.
Well, it gives the kids something to shoot for, something to look forward to, especially when you get kids, say Keith's age, 10 years old. They don't know what they're going to do yet. Well, maybe they get a little bit of money in the fund that might help them make up their mind. Uh-oh, there's Keith. He's back. It might help them to decide to go to college where they might not have really given it that much thought before. Now they say, well, shoot, I got $800 or $1,000 in there. I'll go for a while anyway, you know, see how it works. And it gives them something a reason to stay in the junior program longer.
It's true.
There's all these kids, they keep saying, well, I want to go adult so I can get into the big money leagues. They get into big money leagues, and there's big money, but they don't get much of it.
Right. That's true.
Of course, you haven't done too bad. You haven't
A very
done too bad.
select few. Good coaching, right?
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of practice.
One that reports to your lane,
Uh-oh.
please.
Of course, if he keeps winning like this, he'll have a full scholarship somewhere.
Shoot, he'll be able to go to Harvard or Yale or any place. Well, he's only 10, you know, he's got another 6-7 years as a junior bowler yet.
Jeff's got to slow down, take his time, figure out where he wants to play. He's been all over the lane here so far.
He doesn't have much time to figure out.
No. 131 to 65 in the fourth frame. Definitely gonna have to make it spare. Oh, bad break there, he chopped there. Well, that's the end of the fifth frame.
We were going to take a break, but we're going to let Jeff bowl this frame, and then we'll take a real short break right after this frame.
Scores 140 to 74. There's,
Oh, that looked better.
it is. He liked it. Rose up a little bit. A little high, got a bad break. Switch ball for the spare.
This is it. We'll be back in just a moment for the championship match. Junior Bowlers Gazette Championships.
Keith Poppity show.
That's for sure. That's for sure. He's really shown what a young bowler can do. Some of the parents of the younger ones weren't that interested in putting their kids into this tournament. They said, well, they got to bowl against the big guys. Well, by the looks of this, that doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. Nice spare.
Keith keeps it in play. He's got a nice advantage at this point.
Just about double Jeff's score.
He's almost beating Jeff Scratch at this point. Not too far from it.
He is. He is beating Jeff Scratch.
There he claps his hands. He's been watching the pros. He knows what to do.
Smells victory, I think.
Also, Jeff Clark. Last season, he finished with 191 average.
Tremendous.
He's been bowling for 8 years. He's been bowling almost as long as Keith's been around.
It's true, he's only 10. Jeff's a lot better than he's showing us here today, I'm sure.
Yeah, he hasn't lost too many matches on TV. He's been pretty consistent, but everybody gets a bad day.
That's true.
Most of mine are that way. And that shows that everybody gets a bad day.
Yep. I'm sure Jeff will be back.
I'm sure he will. He hasn't missed too many of the tournaments. He's a tournament bowler. Wherever there's a tournament, he's there.
There's a nice shot. Jeez, got that 4-pin.
Still can't carry. He can't find it.
It's not getting any good breaks at all, except the first frame.
Looks like this is the
Yes,
cranker
it's
condition.
Maybe. Slow ball in the middle.
Coaches out there, I hope you're listening to this. When you have this kind of a lane condition,
Practice.
you practice, you learn to crank the ball, or you put the ball in the bag and go home.
Oh, he gets to
He's
make
got a
5
nice
again.
smile on his face. He knows what's going on.
Yes, he does.
Bill Ripley, telephone line 2. Bill Ripley, line 2.
Get the hair out of the eyes. Got to be able to see where the shot's going.
It's got to look good. Going good, he might as well look good, right? Uh-oh, not 2 in a row.
But he misses a 5-pin.
Again this game.
I don't think I owe him a soda now.
Yeah,
That ought to even it
that's
out.
it. He's got to owe you one. It goes 188 in the eighth.
Keith has really put on an exposition for us today.
Sure is. Guess he likes his house.
He certainly should. I don't think the others do who were here today from the looks of what their scores were. Keith has really ramped him up. He won the first match by 17, the second one by 73, third one by 51, the fourth one by 84. And he's got this one wrapped up.
Looks that way.
There's no hope for Jeff at this point until next year.
He finally threw a ball where he won that lane where he wanted to anyway. Moved out a little bit. Call a little bit more oil. Ball finished nice. There's a nice ball. Stays down with it nice.
Well, he's had some good coaching over the years.
Comes from a bowling family.
Mm-hmm. You can tell that.
Dad and grandfather.
Throws the ball out like his dad.
Yeah.
Which goes against what we said earlier, that you can't coach your own kids. Some people, maybe they can. That was a familiar face that just went by the screen.
Who's that?
That was, I think his name is Johnson.
Must be. friends of Jeff here.
Bowling
buddies.
He'll be on the show pretty quickly.
Sure, that's why he's here.
Tournament top qualifier for our youth tour championships, which we're taping today.
Jeff finished up 151.
Looks like bowling 5 games doesn't bother Keith one bit. Bowled 3 yesterday in the league, bowled 5 last night in the tournament. Practiced yesterday afternoon and last night.
Bowl 5.
Yeah, he looks like he could bowl another 10 games with no problem.
As good as he's bowling, doesn't bother him at all.
Yeah.
Well, he ends up with 206. That's 131 scratch.
206 to 151. Our champion, 10-year-old Keith Poppity from Price Lanes, wins this year's the first Junior Bowlers Gazette Association Championship and a $750 scholarship. Congratulations to him.